welcome to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and this is the 39th take of trying to start this video today, so it's gonna be a bumpy ride. This is the fountain pen revolution Darjeeling, and I've not reviewed any of their pens yet on this channel. I have a few, this one and a couple more, and I will be getting to the other two fairly soon. All of them quite different from, no, I have four. I may have a problem. Anyway, this is a Darjeeling, and this is an interesting fountain pen, and I want to share with you why I think this might be a really good deal if you're looking for a very affordable fountain pen that writes well and is well put together. But is it for you? Well, let's look a little closer at its design and all of that good stuff, how it writes, and you can see. All right, so let's take a closer look at the Darjeeling from Fountain Pen Revolution. It is, as you can see, a plastic pen with a steel clip, and I like the function of this clip. The style of it will vary by person, but I like the function. This is just a simple design pen. It will remind you of different things, dual folds and things like that. There's several pens that it looks like because, I don't know, when it comes to pen design and we start talking about it looks like, that's kind of like when you look at cell phones and say, oh, look at that, they're both black rectangles. There's more variation in fountain pens, far more actually, than in cell phones. It's not entirely a fair comparison, but you are always going to find things that, well, you know, that looks like, and that looks like, and that looks like. And then sometimes you find things that are actually just direct copies. And so then there's that. But this one it looks like a lot of things. And that actually makes it, in my mind, it's a fairly good looking pen. Now this is an inexpensive pen, and it is a plastic pen, metal, again, a metal steel clip. These rings are metal, and you do need, before I forget it, you do need to be careful about these because they stick out just ever so slightly and they have a sharp edge. So don't put it next to your most expensive fountain pen in the drawer. You may get a little bit of scratch on the finish next to it. And from what I've read, a few people have had that happen. So just kind of watch for that. Be aware of what you put it next to. Put it next to a Bic. I keep picking on them. They're going to get mad at me. Anyway, I like it. It does come with a number 6 nib, and so that will help you also kind of judge the size a little bit. And then I'll compare it to a few pens after we do the writing test. I'll compare it in size. It's a little easier from that camera angle to help you to see that. But it is a fairly good sized, full sized fountain pen, and I like that. It fits my hand very well. It's comfortable to write with, and I think it would make a great student pen if you are looking for an alternative to the Lamy with its trifold grip, or you're looking for something that's just less expensive than some of the German pens. I think this might make a good student pen. It's not quite up to, I wouldn't make the comparison to the Lamy Safari in terms of the quality in certain ways, but you know what? Very good pen in terms of how it writes, how it feels, and I have no quibbles with how it's made. So far, I've really enjoyed this pen, and I think they have a good product, and I think they sell it at a very good price. And there are a couple of things about the way this pen is threaded that are just a little bit unusual compared to most of the other pens that I have and have reviewed. When you take off the cap, let me show you that first. I like this part. When you unscrew the cap, it's just very short couple of turns. I'm not even sure it's a full 2 turns. It just really comes off quickly. And so for a lot of people, that's a positive. Now, when you open it up, it's a lot of turns. Look at this. Still going, still going, still going, still going. There we go. Okay, a lot of threads. Now, that is not a negative because you may have already thought about this, but as a plastic pen with a large barrel, can you eyedropper this pen? And the answer is yes, and maybe you should. I have not measured, I'm sure you can Google it, but I haven't measured how much ink you could put in this because I have not eyedroppered this pen yet. But it would hold a lot of ink. I don't know why I put that back on when I know it takes that long to get back off. You will notice that this one does have a cartridge. It does, however, come with a converter. And the converter is international. It's got an international short in it right now, just standard international. So that means you can either use this one or one you already have if you like that better. But this has a good functional converter. I've got no problems with it whatsoever. Works just fine. So there is that. It comes with a converter, another plus, especially at the price. Now, why then do I have that in there? I usually don't put a cartridge in a pen if it comes with a converter. James, man, what are you doing? Well, here's what I did. I ordered I wanted some samples, and so I ordered some cartridges, a variety pack of diamine inks from the UK. I wanted to test a few of the different colors that were inside that variety pack of colors. Anyway, I do really like the pen, and I like that. You may have gotten the impression that I don't like how many turns it takes. Actually, I like that, and here is why. You can eyedropper this pen, and this may be a pen that would give you the most confidence of any pen you ever eyedropper, that it really should not leak, at least from where grip section meets barrel. You know, if it burps out the rest of the pen, that's one thing, but it won't be because they didn't thread it well, because they most certainly did. And I love the quick turn on, turn off of the cap. You know, sometimes it's the simple pleasures, and just how quickly that works, I like. And I love the size of this pen. So all that said, let's get into how the pen writes. All right, so let's take the Darjeeling for a test drive. You can post this pen, but as you can see, because this is a full-size pen, really, if you're looking for a full-size pen that's a bargain and that writes well, that's the one. But that for me it's not uncomfortable. It's not that heavy. But this is just well balanced. It's not very heavy at all, and well balanced without it. And so that would be my preference. So this is the FPR Darjeeling. And this is actually a medium point, but I think it writes, at least the one that I've got, it writes more like a fine medium. So I would label it that way. And it writes smoothly. There is just a hint of feedback, no scratchiness, and there is a difference. There's no scratchiness. I haven't done anything to this nib or anything like that. It just it does have feedback, and some people like that. So that's up to you. And as I mentioned, this is a diamine Imperial Blue, and I just would not have paired anything Imperial with a nation that no longer desired to be part of the empire. So there is that. Wow. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're wondering why I'm making a deal of that, history. Go Google British and India history. Way too long to cover in a pen review, and better experts have done a better job. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet, which is probably for the best. Not too wet, but a little bit. I will do these so that you can get your weekly check-in. I think that was me, not the pen. I really haven't had any trouble with the pen, so I'm assuming that's me. The weekly check-in on whether or not James can do his alphabet. And as you have noticed, if you've seen more than one video, sometimes James can't. because sometimes I can't talk and write at the same time. It's really kind of sad. Anyway, this is, I find it to be a good pen. I do think there were a couple of skips there, and I really think both of those were my fault. Because I've written a lot with this pen and have not had that issue, so I think that's probably just my fault. And probably talked too long with the cap off or something like that. But by the way, I do actually like this blue. So there is that. And I like this blue. So, and it actually color-wise, and that was why I grabbed it. It's a good match. And I like the pen. This pen, I believe, it's been a little while since I got it, and I will put the price up here as I'm talking about it. But I think it was a really good bargain, and I think it's a good value. It's a good pen. It's a simple design. Don't let that fool you. It is well made. And I like the nib, and I like a big number 6 nib, so that's always nice. It's plastic feed. Some of Fountain Pen Revolution's pens come with ebonite feeds. Some of the best bargains you can get on an ebonite feed. But this one is plastic. But it's a good pen. I like it. It's just the right size. Really, the only thing you'd have to decide on is style, whether or not that style is for you. If you're liking the way the pen looks, I would get it because it is comfortable in the hand. It writes well. It has that number 6 nib, or at least number 6-ish nib. They have lots of choices. I should mention this. Fountain Pen Revolution has good choices of nibs. It's not just fine and medium. You've got fine, medium, maybe extra fine. I can't remember. You have flex nibs as an option. Some of you really into the flex nib. So all kinds of stuff. Really, really good choices there. And I've always had good service, and that is something that I appreciate very much. So check it out, the Fountain Pen Revolution Darjeeling, and see if that might not be a pen for you. God bless you. Have a great week. Stay well. See you next time.